awesome. Let's give a warm, huge round of applause. So much joyful noise, so much enthusiasm. Let's give it up for Karen.
Woohoo!
Yeah, Karen.
Karen.
I got this. Yeah. It's Wednesday, March 13th, 2013. And I know it's a Wednesday because I'm driving home with my 8-year-old son after his drama class. I have my Bluetooth in my ear, and my phone happens to ring, and I quickly look down and see it's my husband's sister, Deb, calling me, and my heart literally drops. She and I never call each other. We usually text or email. And for months, we've been worried about my husband's other sister, Cindy. We're pretty sure she has postpartum depression, and it's just gotten worse. So I answer the call, and I immediately say, "Hi, Deb. I'm in the car. Jared is with me." And I said, "Is everything okay?" And she says, "No, please call me as soon as you get home." It's the longest 20-minute drive of my life, and I'm so scared, but I'm also trying to keep things light with my son so he doesn't worry that something's going on. I pull into the garage, and I send him upstairs and say, "Tell Daddy that I have to make a quick important phone call and I'll be up shortly." As soon as I know he's upstairs, I immediately call Deb back, and she says, "I'm so sorry. I hate to have to tell you this way, but I want to tell you quickly." She calls me because my husband's hearing impaired, so he can't always hear on the phone. She says, "But media's calling, and I don't want him to hear any other way but from us." I'm already starting to feel dread. And she says, "Cindy took her life. She jumped out of her 8-story apartment window in New York City with her son strapped to her. Thankfully, he managed to survive, but she did not. I can still hear myself scream. And Deb's telling me, 'I'm so sorry.' And then I take a step back and say, 'No, Deb, I'm sorry. This is your sister. I'm so sorry. I don't even know what to say.' She said, 'Just please go tell Ron because I don't want him to find out any other way. We can talk later.' So I hang up and I rush upstairs. He is in the kitchen with our 8-year-old and our 2-year-old son. And I ask him to come into the bedroom, close the door, because I don't want the boys to hear. And I do the worst thing I've ever had to do in my life and tell him what happened. And just like I could hear myself scream, I could still picture his face. The shock and then the anger. The anger that not only could she do this to herself, but her son. At this point, we know nothing about perinatal mood anxiety disorders, and certainly not postpartum psychosis. So of course he just feels anger. So we deal with, her loss, and as we're trying to prepare for the funeral, Deb was not wrong about the media. They were at our door. They called us, left messages, tried to call my husband's work. It was awful, and the stories were horrible. We had decided with Deb that we would tell the story eventually, but in our time, in our way. So we just always tried to leave it as no comment. And even at the funeral, there was somebody there. They actually had her husband's eulogy in an article. So we did eventually do a story with the New York Times, and they did a wonderful job. So about 6 months after we lost her, and a little bit of the shock had worn off, I decided I really needed to do something to bring awareness to this illness. The few people I had told about this story had never heard of postpartum psychosis either. So I'm a licensed Zumba instructor, and I reached out to the executive director of Postpartum Support International, Wendy Davis. Deb had already spoken with her before. And we talked, and that's when I learned a bit about postpartum psychosis. And I decided to host a Zumba fundraiser for PSI, which was a huge success. And that's when I really started to begin to tell a story about Cindy. And what I found amazing was, as hard and as scary as it was, some of the messages, private messages I got from people that said, I went through postpartum depression. I thought I was all alone. Or my mom, I think my mom had postpartum psychosis, but we never knew what it was. So just to hear that, I started to feel so not alone. So after the Zumbathon, I got even more involved with PSI. I became a volunteer coordinator. I am now on their board as their treasurer. I'm the PSI New York board treasurer. And it has just become our family's passion to bring awareness about these illnesses. And, for myself, I just feel that, with everything we've been through and, meeting all these people that have lived through it, but as I continue to tell her story, if I can help even one person and one family through this illness, then at least it's worth something in Cindy's memory. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Great job.
Up, Karen.